ESPN joins the National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing in celebrating its 50th anniversary.
Jack Sprague comes into round 9 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, leading his old nemesis Ron Hornaday by 77 points. Sprague has one win at Monroe, Washington, and is the only racer in the series to finish in the top 10 in all 8 previous races. But in his 9 career victories, none have ever come at Bristol Motor Speedway. Ron Hornaday has won twice this year, first at Orlando and at Phoenix. And the victory donut could have occurred a third time at Watkins Glen until a late black flag for jumping the restart dropped him to 4th. But Hornaday returns to the site of his most dominating victory, Bristol Motor Speedway. It happened last year as he went wire to wire. He started on the pole last year, and that's exactly where Ron Hornaday is again, with a record speed of 121 miles an hour. But that was yesterday. He was 39 years old. Today's his birthday. He's the big 4-0, and the rest of the field's been riding him hard about being an old man and slowing down. In fact, the guy that's lined up next to him, guess who? Jack Sprague. He went so far to say that this guy, Hornaday, will not lead every single lap. I guarantee it. One other thing to remember, the winners of the 3 past races here at Bristol all started from the top 3 positions. We're ready to go racing at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Ah, yes, Bristol, the action-packed high bank half mile in the Tennessee Hills, home of great racing until the wreck. Make that wrecks, plural, little wrecks, big wrecks, spectacular wrecks, lots of emotion, sheet metal mayhem. NASCAR stars can end up thinking, wow, I'm okay, but what do I do now? If 3 previous visits to Bristol are any indication, tonight's Loadhandler 200 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series should provide a very entertaining and exciting evening of short track action. Take a look at the battle for the Truck Championship. 5 drivers are within 200 points. You've heard about the point leaders at the front of the field tonight. Joe Ruttman, 3rd in the points, is going to line up right behind them on the grid here this evening. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain along with Benny Parsons. Whenever we come to Bristol, Benny, we know we're in for a lot of action, and one of the reasons is it's a tough place to pass.
It is very, very tough. The groove's right on the bottom of the racetrack. We don't see many sanitary passes where a car drives by, a truck drives by, and waves to the driver as he goes by. Usually there's contact as he goes by, and he basically knocks him out of the way.
As much as we talk about the difficulty in passing here, it seems like inevitably 1 or 2 guys get it figured out.
Joe Ruttman did it last year. Ruttman started at the rear of the field, passed all the trucks to get to the front. Did not win the race, but at least he passed the trucks to get to the front.
Well, take a look at your starting lineup. The Eagle One grid has Ron Hornaday on the pole. He led every lap from the pole last year. Jack Sprague alongside says that will not happen again tonight.
Joe Ruttman's back in row 2, the Watkins Glen winner, and Curtis Markham, his 3rd start in 1998.
How about young Jamie Skinner, son of the 2-time champion, starts inside row 3 alongside Randy Tolsma out of Meridian, Idaho.
Jay Saunders in the inside of row 4. He's 2nd at Watkins Glen. And Mike Wallace in Kenny Schrader's truck on the outside.
Last year's rookie Stacy Compton alongside this year's Rookie of the Year contender Greg Biffle.
On the inside of row 6, Andy Houston finished 2nd at Texas. He's the leading rookie in 1998. On the outside, Tony Raines, the winner at Texas, also I-70 Speedway.
Ron Barfield is next in line up Florence, South Carolina, the Ortho truck alongside Rick Crawford, who got his first win of the year at Homestead.
Brian Refner on the inside of row 8, and Jimmy Hensley in Richard Petty's truck on the outside.
Next row has Kenny Bouchard out of Pittsburgh, Massachusetts, alongside Kevin Zawinski out of Wisconsin.
In row 10, Mike Bliss with a broken shoulder blade will be starting tonight, and Terry Cook on the outside. The question is, how long is Bliss going to go?
Take you on back through the rest of the starting lineup. Carl Long out of South Carolina is making a rare truck start for him. And Benny, as we look at the rest of the field, North Carolina. I get my Carolinas mixed up. You don't want to do that when you're dealing with a bunch of Carolinians like you, right? Let me ask you about a race strategy, alluding back to that difficulty that we talked about at the top when it's tough to pass. Do you push and gouge, or can you afford to take your time and wait here?
I think you have to take your time and wait. You have to wait for attrition to try to take some of the trucks out of the mix, because if you start pushing and gouging, you're going to be involved in an accident. you know, if you are able to continue, you're still going to be able to knock the brake ducts off or knock the radiator off the truck. Best just to wait and hope that attrition takes care of some of the trucks.
Some of these guys in the back of the field a little beat up. Horace said with some dinged up ribs. And Scott Walters also had a tough time in Texas with a big crash. Provisionals, Dave Resendiz out of a ride, steps into the second Bliss team truck and could not qualify and had to take a provisional. Meanwhile, for Bliss, it was a good qualifying effort. We said he's going to start 19th, but there is a big question about how long he'll be able to go. So we're set for what should be an interesting and exciting 200 lapper. There'll be a break in the middle. Everybody wondering if Hornaday can do what he did here a year ago now that he's the big 4-0. He was pretty good-natured yesterday when we talked to him about the birthday. I think he still feels like a pretty racy kid. Meanwhile, speaking of kids, the youngsters coming up. Here's Greg Biffle in the thick of the battle for Cintas Rookie of the Year. But Andy Houston has really emerged as the guy to beat in that chase.
Yeah, he really has. He has done a terrific job. He and Biffle both have done a good job this year. Also, Wayne Anderson, Scott Walters, a 37 truck, and Dominic Dobson. Also, other rookies involved. Joe Gaeta, not here tonight. Rick McRae, Rob Morgan, David Starr, or Randy Nelson. All those fellows not here tonight.
Morgan Spunner out trying to qualify, and everybody else having some difficulty or another trying to make it into the show. It's tough in any NASCAR touring division for the rookies to make the cut, especially so here at Bristol, where experience can be such an important part of the equation. The trucks rumbling around, warming up, getting set to go. 17. Ooh, Crawford's on pit road, and that is unexpected. 17 Chevys, 16 Fords, and 5 Dodges. An immediate problem for Crawford. The truck out of the Circle Bar Motel and RV Park out in Ozona, Texas. You don't want to be under the hood on the pace lap.
No, that's not a good place to be. I said Randy Nelson was not in the race. In fact, he is. He's starting 38th. My apologies, Randy.
And that was that unusual rule that allows the next fastest qualifier to get into the field if the past champion's provisional is not required. So quick work here to try to get Crawford back underway. The truck's continuing to circulate. Let's take you through a look at our onboard cameras here, beginning with Dave Resendiz and the Ultra Wheels truck.
The Team ASC Ford truck. This is Jimmy Smith's truck. Barry Dawson and crew chief. Boris said the Federated Auto Parts Ford will be right along with Boris tonight. Lance Norrick, the NHL Dodge. Hockey season's over, but he's still got the NHL around. Also, we ride along with Tony Roper, the Ice House Beer Ford. This is his first ride in the Ice House truck tonight. Ron Barfield, our Precision Gear onboard camera this evening. The Ortho Chevrolet of Charles Hardy. Tony Raines, Pennzoil, Yellow Freight, Ford, the winner last race at Texas. Greg Biffle, the WW Granger onboard camera. And we'll also be riding along with our pole sitter tonight, Ron Barfield.
Or Hornaday.
Ron Hornaday, yeah. Pick a Ron. Pick a Ron.
Seen a lot of Hornaday at this joint. He definitely knows his way around Bristol. He's trying tonight to become the all-time king of the truck short tracks. He's looking for his 13th start. What's up with Crawford? Let's find out from Marty Reed.
Well, Crawford may have won a race earlier this year, but boy, right now he's got about 2 laps to get this thing fixed, and they have got a clutch problem, guys, and they are thrashing underneath. I don't think he's going to make it.
Bad break for the Homestead, Florida winner, Rick Crawford, whose racing team is stabled in Georgia, one of the few that say that in the truck division. And they thought they had the truck prepped, qualified decently, but then came here to experience clutch trouble on the pace laps. And I think you're right, Marty. I think they're going to be hard pressed to get that thing out there and assume its place in the starting lineup.
And Mike Bliss also brings his truck down pit road. There we see Mike Bliss again with a broken shoulder blade coming down pit road. Will stop his pit. They're going to look inside the truck. I don't know exactly what's that. Maybe that's his way of getting to the rear of the field.
His intention was to get out of the way. He will not race the entire distance tonight, or at least we don't think he will. I would say the fact that he's dropping the back now would be an indication of that. But there's been a lot of speculation about what's up with this, about the strategy. Why not put another driver in there and all the rest of that? Marty, got any more on that?
Yeah, you guys are dead spot on. In fact, he came in and he asked the guys, he said, hey, the air conditioner's not working, guys.
It's been a difficult weekend for him because this guy's a racer. He comes here knowing that his ability to race is compromised by the shoulder. So he said, he went out just what the heck in qualifying. Yet he uncorked the 19th fastest qualifying ever, which is pretty good.
Trucks are getting lined up. We see the 70 truck is on pit road. Joe Buford down the backstretch pit. He'll have to go to the back to the field as the trucks are getting set for the start. Hornaday on the poles. Sprague on the outside. See Joe Buford.
Will take his position at the back of the field alongside Bliss. This should be good. The championship contenders side by side as we go green at Bristol. Is determined to lead a lap tonight. It will not be the first lap. Hornaday got the drop on him on the start and opens up an immediate 5-truck length lead, determined to do what he did here a year ago to dominate 200 laps at Bristol Motor Speedway. Button settles into the 3rd spot ahead of Curtis Martin, the all-white colors. Top 4, streaking turn 3.
Randy Cole is your 5th place truckers. Now we have NASCAR Craftsman trucks almost encircling this entire speedway, about at least 3/4 of the speedway is a single file around the racetrack.
It'll take long for him to string out here, and thus by extension, not long for them to start lapping.
Jamie Skinner, there he is in the 5 truck as Stacy Compton trying to get by. Andy Houston, Ron Barfield right behind. I got the right Ron that time.
I'll tell you what, Skinner feeling the heat here. A great qualifying effort. He's got some talent lined up behind him. Stacy Compton gets right up there onto the tail.
Oh, we got a spin. Jay Sauter is spun down the front stretch. And I don't know if there was contact or not.
Yep, a little contact on the nose with the wall as the leaders come back to the yellow flag. It'll be Hornaday by a truck length over Sprague. Skinner, or I should say Sauter, involved in that battle for the top 5 in the championship, just a point behind Stacy Compton, who we were watching their run in 8th spot at the time of the spin.
So we answered the question, did he make contact with the inside retaining wall? Yes. He is bloody. If it was a nose, it would be bloody right now.
By the way, the Crawford truck is still in the pits. He did not make the start.
And he comes off the corner all by himself and just around it goes. And there we see the contact with the inside retaining wall as he now brings his car to the, there we see from the speed shot as he slides down to the inside retaining wall.
Long gone at that point. Jay Sauter has hurt the GM Goodwrench number 3, and the Childress organization going to work to try to make it right. We'll be back with more from Bristol after this timeout. Live from Bristol, Tennessee, this Speed World presentation of the Loadhandler 200 brought to you by Pennzoil, specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil. And by Zinsser First, to prevent trouble before it has a chance to start. Use Zinsser First. And by ESPN Video. Get your officially licensed NASCAR videos from ESPN Video. Getting set for the restart, and the green is in the air on lap 11. Hornaday quickly back to the front. The yellow for the spin for Jay Sauter. Also involved a near miss by Andy Houston. Looks like there might have been a little something on the racetrack that Sauter might have gotten into. There's the view across the tailgate of Ron Hornaday. Second ranked in the championship standing. The champion 2 years ago. But the dominant force here at Bristol in 1997, trying to repeat in 1998 on his birthday.
And Sprague is giving him all he wants. Look as he closes up right on the tailgate of that Napa Chevrolet. Yahoo is right.
This is what we've all been waiting for, Sprague and Hornaday. Of course, we all try to build this up as a big rivalry. These guys tend to downplay it and say, nah, he's just another guy I'm out there racing with. I guarantee you Sprague wants to run him badly right now.
Trying to take a look. Right now, he closed up. He is faster than Hornaday through the corner. But being fast and passing, as we can see, is 2 entire different situations.
Pretty early in the race to be nestling up under that tailgate and trying to loosen him up, too. You don't want to be making a lot of contact 14 laps into 200.
Right now, I think he's more trying to worry Ron Hornaday than anything else.
Think about it.
That's right. He wants to look up. Every time he looks in the mirror, he's wanting to see. Oh, we got a crash. Andy Houston. Looks like Biffle's also involved in it.
Wow.
Biffle up on the outside.
Looks like it. Yeah. What's left of the Granger truck sliding down off the wall, as Greg Biffle has really had hard times of late. Big crashes, too, not just little crashes. Biffle whacked her good.
And we see water coming out on the camera lens. We see water coming out of the engine on the lens. So the radiator is definitely broken in the car, truck, I should say.
Look at the back.
Yeah, the back's also broken.
Shortened her up a good bit. Biffle will not be a contender here this evening, and will likely lose more ground in terms of the championship chase. Well, let's figure out here whether Houston was involved.
Yes, he is. Houston's on pit road now.
Yeah, he's on pit road now, so he definitely got a little piece of that. And they are, of course, the two top drivers in the Cintas Rookie of the Year standings. So there goes just the tail. You saw it disappearing in the lower right-hand corner of your screen of Andy Houston's truck, and he's going to be on the tail of the field. Here's how it happened.
Oh, Houston just came off the corner. Houston came off the corner, lost control. We'll watch this.
There you'll see it.
We'll see it from Biffle's. We go into off turn 4. Now we see Houston lose control. Oh, he got the truck loose and had to back off the gas, and that's when Biffle just ran up on the back of him.
But Biffle got into the back of Houston after Houston backed off of it, and it was in the same spot that Houston almost lost it when Sauter wrecked the previous time. Let's go to Marty.
Well, the damage is quite severe. The radiator and all the front end is pushed back into the motor compartment. Greg's taking the, you can just see the frustration. He's talking on the radio and making the hand gestures. Let me see if I can get him to unbuckle here. Here he's coming out. Greg, what happened, man?
Well, the 60 truck, I didn't think he was that sideways, but the 60 truck started to lose it coming off. And what happens here is the straightaways are so banked it shoots everything down. And I was going by him, and he just come down and chopped into me and got me turned around, and nothing you could do. You know, he was struggling, and he was way out of shape, and my spotter said, be careful, and I was just trying to get out of the way, you know.
I know you were just trying to finish this race. You've been trying to finish the race.
This is just, we just wanted to get a good finish, you know, and we didn't think we were going to come out here and win. We just wanted to finish in the top 5 or top 10 and not tear up any equipment.
Unfortunately, guys, he didn't make it.
There's the other guy involved, Houston, with damage on the left front. The Wounded Warriors are on pit road. You'll see Sauter pull out right behind him there. Take another look for the speed shot.
Houston came off the corner. It was a little bit too high, and when he backed off the gas, he had to back off the gas and run into the outside retaining wall. When he did that, boom, Biffle in the back of it.
Just one of those racing incidents, as they say. You see the tape that now holds together the Addington Cole number 60. So, bad break for Andy Houston, son of Tommy, on Father's Day weekend. He's damaged the truck, but at least he's able to continue. Biffle, less fortunate. He will be retired for the evening, as we have put 19 laps in the book, the scheduled 200 with a halftime break. And guess who's led the lap so far? Sauter will move his way up alongside Ron Hornaday for the restart. The first truck a lap down.
This is going to really mess up Ron Hornaday. I'm afraid that Sauter trying to get this lap back is going to give the 24 truck of Sprague the opportunity he's been looking for to try to get by.
There we go.
Now Hornaday jumped in front of Sauter.
Now Sprague, who will have his hands full with Sauter.
Exactly. It worked exactly the opposite the way I thought it was going to work.
Hornaday's the master of those restarts. He's pretty tough to beat. So good, in fact, that, well, let's take So Sauter now slips the lap truck in between the two leaders and championship point front runners. Rutland has been the quiet man, sitting back there in the black 99, waiting for this to all unfold or unravel. Take the bet. Good run for Curtis Markham so far here this evening, keeping his nose clean, staying out of trouble, sitting there in 4th spot and just watching the world go by. Thinking all the while, if I run 4th all night on TV, I'll put a sponsor thing to sell this truck.
Jay Sauter not able to close up on the back bumper on Ron Hornaday. And right now, the 24 Sprague has nothing. All he can do is just sit there and see what Sauter's going to do. There's no point in pressuring him right now because he realized that he wants to get that lap back that he's down. But I guess right now you might go up and press him just a little bit.
That's why they call you the expert.
Yeah.
I'd call that pressure. Well, it's got to be frustrating for Sprague because you hit it exactly right. He wanted to shove that nose up under Hornaday's tailgate to make him think about it every lap around the racetrack. Now Sauter's there and he can't do that. Can't do it. The other side of that is Sauter's got a good truck. He qualified at 7th. Here he goes. Good clean pass. Sauter didn't contest it. Around to go. And now the frustration is Rutten.
Now we got a crash. Jamie Skinner spun off turn 2.
Would it be harsh, Benny, if, would it be harsh to say that some people were expecting that? Jamie has really had a tough time. Spun twice in practice. No caution.
No caution flag.
No caution flag. So he's going to get back underway and make the guys behind him nervous now. He spun twice in practice, then uncorked a whale of a qualifying lap. Lined up 5th, but there were a lot of people thinking, oh, look at this, look how
and we see Houston's truck up against the outside retaining wall, and all these trucks were trying to dodge as a caution flag does come out now. And Sauter's trying to race these trucks back. Let's see if NASCAR's going to let him get that lap back or not.
All of this unrelated to the goings-on with Skinner. What happened is apparently there's been something wrong from the get-go with this number 60 truck, and he's hurt it badly this time. Involved in all 3 of our caution incidents thus far. The number 60 of Andy Houston. This time he slapped it pretty good. Sprague, just when he was ready to go up and start pressuring Hornaday, loses that opportunity to our 3rd yellow of the night with 29 laps in the book. Marty?
Well, the radio traffic that we're hearing, a lot of guys are saying the track is really getting loose. The sun's going down. The track's cooling off. The interesting part is Andy Houston leads Greg Biffle in the Rookie of the Year Cintas standings heading into this race, and both of them have just had an abysmal race.
Houston will extend that lead, however, by virtue of simply staying on the racetrack longer. We're going to take a commercial break and come back with the replays and figure out how this all came about. Stay with us. Some things in racing are predictable. A lot of guys are not having a lot of fun tonight at Bristol. Begin with young Jamie Skinner.
Around he goes. We see Stacy Compton go on the outside. Ron Barfield on the inside. Ryan Rucker gets by. So does Tony Raines. All the other trucks split the 5 truck.
No caution at that point. So we jump on board with Barfield. Around goes Houston.
Skinner.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
This is Tony Raines as he sees the same spin. He says, which good way to go? Okay, I'll go on the inside. Now the caution came for, you're right, Andy Houston blew a left front tire for some reason coming off turn 2 as we see Stacy Compton in the pit area. Marty, what's going on with him?
He's cooking, baby. I mean, he could be boiling hot dogs inside that motor right now from what the temperature gauge is telling him. And you can see there's some steam down there. It's getting ready. They're trying to pump as much water in here as possible. He's going to go a lap down. In fact, we're going green.
Compton missed the wreck, but is overheating, and we're back to green on lap 34.
And Jay Sauter did not get his lap back. NASCAR disallowed him getting by those guys. As we see, now we see a battle for 3rd spot between Curtis Markham and Joe Rutten, and Markham takes over that spot.
And nary a bit of faint swap as they got by cleanly. He got by cleanly, and Rutten gave him that position. Fought him for it, but not willing to take a major chance. Not going to the rear for a while. It's been a good run for Markham, the junior short track specialist. Bristol do some business. Right now, the lap truck of Jay Sauter all stands between him and the 2 leaders. Rutten won here in '95 with one of the most breathtaking passes we've ever seen. Took it all the way down, put the left-hand wheels on the flat, got by Jeff Bodine to win it. Here's where Sprague wanted to be.
Now he's worrying that 16 truck. He's worrying to death. Every time he looks up in the mirror, he sees the 24 truck, and that's exactly what Sprague wants him to see. He's wanting to just get in the corner a little bit too hard. One time, go up the racetrack.
Sprague's truck is the same. Trouble here for number 67, Joe Bush of Hastings, Michigan. The Hill Machinery Chevrolet is on pit road. Sometimes Sprague's corner speed was certainly equal to that of the leader.
I think he backed up now. Is he going to try this on the outside? No. I think he just backed up to show Ron Hornaday how much faster he was than the Napa Chevrolet. Now, he goes inside, and I don't think that Hornaday is going to lead every lap tonight. Oh, maybe he is after all.
Good racing at Bristol. Sprague on the bottom. Hornaday fought him hard for it, but Jack Sprague comes around to lead a lap. First guy to do that in the truck competition at Bristol since 1996, because Hornaday led them all last year. He's still trying to swap ends with that truck.
Basic conference crew pushing his truck behind pit wall, so he's out of the competition for the evening.
Remember, we had talked about the fact that Sauter was involved in the battle with Compton for 5th in the point standings. Sauter looked to be the one in trouble early when he spun. As it turns out, it is Compton who has retired. Now let's get more on his story from Marty.
Yeah, I'm down here with Stacy. You and I talked right before the start of the race. You really felt confident, and all of a sudden, you turned into a cooker press.
Well, you know, I really hate it for the Royal Crown Ford. Had a good truck. I don't know what happened. Something broke in the engine. We may try to get back out. I don't know. It looks like a terminal.
You won't talk to me anymore before the start of the race, will you?
I'll keep talking to you.
Okay.
Stacey Compton is so happy to see that team evolving, to have a big sponsor, to running in the big leagues. And when you get that good in the nights like tonight, it becomes all that much more frustrating.
And now we saw Curtis Markham in third spot a moment ago. He is falling back. Ruttman's been able to get by. Tolman's been able to get by. Mike Wallace has been able to get by. Now we see the 19 truck of Tony Raines going by. Here's Jimmy Hensley going by. So all of a sudden, the handle gone completely away on Curtis Markham's ride.
That's frustrating. Raines got all the way down on the apron in making that pass. Marty, more on Tony.
Well, they had to change a motor this afternoon. They found a broken cylinder head, and he was almost in that accident with Biffle. He says it's very tight in the center and coming off. So he's just trying to hold on to the brake.
Markham's truck, which looked so good in moving up to third, has now plummeted to 12th in the running order, and it's Hornaday's turn to keep the pressure on Sprague. The class of the truck field running 1-2.
And Hornaday looks exactly like Sprague did just a moment ago. Looks like he's clearly faster than the truck in front, but when Sprague was behind, it looked like he was also. And we see a spin coming off the corner as
who is it?
Randy Nelson, the 82 truck, the one I said didn't make it tonight. Well, he's here, and spun coming off the corner, and no caution flag. Randy is sitting there. The caution flag is not waved as here the leaders come to complete another lap.
Rhino Whiting's entry stopped safely out of harm's way for the moment. He cranks it up and gets back into the competition. The El Cajon, California runner spins but does not bring out the caution flag. So the Sprague Hornaday battle continues. Not much to choose between those two trucks. They're pretty equal. Sprague was able to make that pass after pressuring Hornaday. Got him moved up the racetrack a little bit. They'll go around Bliss. Yes, Bliss is still out there, still circulating. Pretty hard to get the racer out of the cockpit, even if he's got the broken shoulder.
But I think they have now as Mike Bliss comes slowly down pit road. Looks like he is going to park.
Leaders have lapped him, and so Bliss is going to call it a night. 51 laps into the 200. That will make up the Loadhandler 200 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. A beautiful evening, a nice crowd, and a great race up front. We'll have more in a moment. The caution flag flies at Bristol Motor Speedway. 59 laps into the 200-lap Loadhandler 200. Scott Walters in the 37 truck, still a bit dinged up after the big crash in Texas. Had a little bit of a loop-de-loop that did not appear to have harmed anything, but did bring out the yellow, but not until this occurred during the commercial break.
We see Ron Hornaday, the 16 Napa truck, gets positioned down the front stretch on the 24 truck, dives to the inside. Sprague said, I better not go down there, otherwise we might both spin. That would not be wise. And there we see Scott Walters, the 37 Red Man truck. Around he goes. No other contact with other trucks.
And so we're under yellow with Hornaday back out front. Sprague got to lead a few, but not many. And Walters regroups here. having spun the 37. He's kind of struggling anyway. He was back there in 30th spot at the time he turned the thing around. So we're going to get in another commercial break, take the opportunity here under the yellow, and come back to see if Hornaday can read the rest of them. Stay with us. Big night in Bristol, Bristol Motor Speedway with the Truck Series. Big night for Robert Huffman. He won the Goodies Dash race earlier on ESPN2 and has now climbed into Keselowski's Dodge to race the truck race. Tomorrow, the CART FedEx Championship cars go to the scene of their closest finish in history. It happened a year ago in the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200. They'll be at Portland tomorrow. 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 o'clock Pacific. We'll see it on ESPN. Invite you to tune in. Got the Fender cars tonight, the open wheelers tomorrow. You on board with Boris Said, who still has some cracked ribs from his Texas altercation. And Marty can give us a little bit of an update on that, I think.
Well, the good news is that his ribs are holding up pretty well. Barr says that that's not my problem. The problem I have is it's overheating. So they've got a bit of a cooker themselves. I also checked in with the 29 truck. They did make the change there, and Robert Huffman is in the truck now, doing very well according to the team. They are a lap down. They lost a lap during the yellow, but they're very happy with the way he's handling his first truck race.
He's right behind Kevin Harvick, who is the first truck a lap down as we get set to get back at it here. Hornaday and Sprague, your championship point leaders, with third-ranked Ruttman right back behind McKinnon. Here we go. Harvick moves up out of the way with a little help from Sprague. Ruttman is by. Randy Tolman, number 61, third spot. The coach. Somebody got close to the camera.
Well, they sure did. Mike Wallace is running in fifth spot, the Purelator Chevrolet. Meanwhile, Emerson Colesman, the 61, trying to work on Joe Ruttman. About a third spot.
Barfield the call. He sits in sixth spot, 2 positions back of this battle. Top 4 tight as we give you the Napa Field summary. Bring you back to the field, see who's on the way to the front. Tolsman picked up 2 spots, so too has Wallace. Barfield's come from 13th and Refner from 15th. All these guys moving forward nicely. Zawinski has a good run here this evening so far. Markham has gone the other direction. Handling is gone on that truck, and he's fallen in the top 10. They're set now 25th with the overheating truck. Sauter spun and went a lap down. Huffman losing a lap on the driver change. The rest of these guys having a variety of serious difficulties. Bliss has parked the number 1 truck after running about 50 laps with a broken shoulder. A terrible season for Mike Wilson. Battle for the lead, going to 1.
Ron Hornaday right now was holding up Jack Sprague. As Sprague goes by, here comes Ruttman trying to take a look.
A bit more racing truck race than we saw here a year ago. Ruttman is now there to pressure Hornaday. And the traffic jam behind Hornaday is still behind Hornaday, but you wonder for how long. Look at Tolsma trying to push Ruttman out of the way and get up there into the thick of it. Tolsma's never run this racetrack. Right there in the heat of the battle.
I'll tell you what, Tolsma, since he brought Dave Hughes on board as a crew chief, the 61 truck has been up front most every race.
We talk a lot about confidence and attitude, Danny, feeling like you can do it. I think that's the case. Of course, winning that race last year.
Now, meanwhile, these 2 Chevrolets start put just a little distance once again on Joe Ruttman's truck, the Ford truck.
I understand how it works on the big tracks, but on a little track like this, it looked like Hornaday was holding these guys up. Sprague gets in front of him, and now the 2 of them pull away. How does that work?
I don't quite understand that myself.
It's not an aerodynamic thing, you assume, on a track this small.
Hornaday takes a look. He's got position. Got it. Takes a spot away.
These guys, as they play this little cat and mouse game, oh, we got trouble up.
Oh, we got a hard contact with the inside retaining wall as these guys come down. And Wayne Anderson, if that was his truck that made contact, it was
whacked the front of it pretty good.
Yes, he did.
Man, it's been a tough night for the rookies. Biffle in the big crash, Houston in the big crash, and now Wayne Anderson. The top 3 in the Cintas Rookie of the Year standings have all hammered the concrete at Bristol tonight, and the Porter Cable truck hit her pretty hard right front. 5th caution of the day, lap 72.
Right front's towed in about a foot.
Woo! Around and around and around she
And
goes.
he almost missed that inside pit wall. He almost missed it, but unfortunately, he didn't miss it. He made some pretty heavy contact with the right front. Forrest Sid sees this and goes, not much to see as Anderson is there on the inside. All we can see is a bunch of smoke, really.
A bunch of smoke and then a lot of damage.
Troy Selberg, the crew chief, looks in to see what kind of problems they have.
We'll take a commercial break under this yellow for Anderson. Come back, regroup, and restart as we get close to halfway. Stay with us. Loadhandler 200 from Bristol Motor Speedway forming up for a restart. Hornaday and Sprague getting at it pretty regularly here between the spins that have taken out all three of the top rookie of the year candidates. We're back to green as you ride on board with Ron Barfield, giving him a pretty good run from 6th spot. Mike Wallace in front of him in 5th. A couple of lappers in the mix. Jay Sauter up there down the division. There's Huffman, a lap down after driver change, taking over number 29 for Keselowski. Racing Tolsma pretty hard. Not for position. Tolsma is 4th, but Sauter in the 3 is in front of him. And this is for me.
Boy, those two trucks are evenly matched tonight.
A couple of pretty good Chevrolets out of a couple of pretty good racing stables. The 16 from Dale Teresa Earnhardt, the 24 out of Hendrick Motorsports. Into the wall goes the 11.
Kenny Bouchard. And there's no caution. And Mike Bliss is back on the racetrack as we see the nose is blooded on the 11 truck.
Way short. Well, not last one. Just making the observation before that last caution that these two guys, while they've been mixing up pretty good for the lead change, have been also very smart. Here's the incident for Bouchard.
There we see the contact between Joe Buford and himself, and around he goes, and all the other trucks luckily able to avoid Bouchard as he was spinning.
Scraped her on the way.
Oh, we got another crash. Lance Norrick is spun up in turn 3, but no caution. Oh, now another truck. Jamie Skinner is spun off turn 2. Now the caution flag does come out.
Well, we'll do our best to differentiate between the spins on replay and the spins that are live, ladies and gentlemen. This is live. This is Jamie. Second time tonight he's been around. And the son of the 2-time series champion Mike Skinner has had a pretty tough weekend here.
Well, he started spinning up in the corner, and he finishes spinning as he gets down to the straightaway.
Which, by the way, is banked 16 degrees if you wonder about the way the trucks behave sometimes. There's the Lumar Windows film number 5. He'll get her on pit road. So we're going to take yet another commercial break here. 83 of 200 in the book. Halfway break will be coming up shortly. Stay with us. It's hurt, but it runs. Get it back out there. Greg Biffle rejoins the competition. 67 laps down at Bristol Motor Speedway, but determined to accumulate more points. It's not a joking matter. He's in contention for Cintas Rookie of the Year. The guy he's trying to beat is out of the race with a broken truck. And so, number 50 returns to combat as we get set for a restart. It's part of the racing game, man. It's no fun to drive something like that, but the points count.
Points count. Every point that you get counts at the end of the season. As once again, some contact there between Sauter and the 3 truck and Jack Sprague in the 24.
Sprague shakes it off and keeps on trucking. Sauter has been in the middle of the mix from the get-go here. Spun the truck, the very first caution of the day. Dinged up the nose a little bit, but didn't hurt it badly. Fell a lap behind, but has since been in the lead group, worrying the front runners, and now causing a little problem for Joe Ruttman as to try to get around him. Sprague takes off, looking for the leader. We're running back to the field. Tolsma, Wallace, moving forward. All of these guys having good runs. Refner has come from 15th to 7th. Curtis Martin's gone the other way. His truck's gone south on him. Brad Teague from 27th to 14th. This Carl Long kid having a good run here tonight. Staying clean.
Oh, we got a big crash over the corner now.
This is the wreck of the night so far. Here they come.
Lance Norrick, hard contact in the back of someone in the 90 Dodge. We see his other truck of Butch Miller sitting on the inside. Now the 3 truck is trying to beat the 16 back. And the flagman is saying, nope, you can't do that.
Second time tonight they have disallowed that. There's the worst hit, it appears, for number 90. We see Lance moving around in there, but the window net has not yet dropped. Here's how it all happened.
The first truck that spins is the 91 of Carl Long. We see Joe Buford in the 70 there, and Lance Norrick just plowed in the back of Boris Said in the 44, and we see Butch Miller in the Dana Dodge down on the inside with heavy damage to the nose of his truck. Listen to Boris Said as he goes in turn 3. Listen to this.
Hit in the back.
Hit in the back.
There's Norrick. He's out and okay. Safety workers tend to him, and he takes a quick look at it and says, well, we won't run that one before tonight. Keeled. It started well in front of Norrick. He was looking for a place to go there and should have been looking for a place to stop, obviously, but he's okay, and that's the good news.
The workers tell him we've got to go to the hospital. Here's Lance Norrick's onboard. See what he sees or hears. This is going in through turns 1 and 2. Now as he goes down the back stretch, you're going to hear it. Listen to this. He goes in turn 3. Well, wasn't too bad, was it?
He was off the gas anyway.
At least Biffle didn't tear up to pieces that time. He dodged the wreck.
Well, no laughing matter for the crews that have got to fix them. There's a lot of damage in that one. We'll take a break and come back with more. We're close to halfway in Bristol. Back at Bristol. Turn them loose. These brakes all over one today. This time with the restart. Sauter again right there in the thick of it. Rutland rides third. Out of the 3 they go. Hornaday, the restart master, with a couple of lengths, making 3 over Sprague.
See, the sun is setting to the west here in Bristol, Tennessee. Sprague is going to drive up on the outside. Cannot. It's just too far around up there. Didn't quite make that pass.
The radio traffic indicating that the racetrack is actually getting more slippery as the sun goes down, which seems the opposite of what we would expect.
Oh, some contact there, and Hornaday goes up the hill and contact once again, and meanwhile the 3 truck is closed up right on the back bumper.
Man, that was aggressive. And Hornaday did a nice job of hanging on. That kind of tap will turn you pretty easy at Bristol. The lighting in these 3,600 odd pound machines is not an exact science. So just how hard can you hit a guy without turning him around?
That we found out. That Sprague hit Hornaday just about as hard as you can hit him and not turn him around.
We took a step toward defining the edge.
Yes, we did. You see Butch Miller slow on the inside. Damage to his truck.
Yeah, got Hornaday mad. He says, if you're going to do that to me, I'll just drive away from him. It opens up to about 5 lengths now. Sprague comes reeling him back in. Sauter, the lap truck, in the mix. Then the 99 of Rutland, the 61 of Tolsma, and the 52 of Wallace, who's having a nice, consistent top 5 evening. As we come to halfway, finally, I've been saying for 3 yellows, we were almost halfway. Now we're there. What we'll do is take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Marty will get his running shoes on, head up and down pit road, and tell you all about the work they're doing on the trucks. Hello, Fred Graves. You got a good one tonight. It makes the Napa people ever so happy when their truck leads the Napa Field Summary. Hornaday does that tonight. Number 16 up front of Sprague, Rutman, Tolsma, and Wallace. That's your top 5. Barfield has been pretty consistent. Once he's gotten to 6th, he stayed there. Ruffner followed him to the front. Take you on back through the rest of the field. Resendiz is on the move, 15th from 37th. Rush, likewise, going forward. The trucks are stopped on pit road. Let's go to Marty and get the report on what they're doing.
Okay, well, on the 16, they're going to put a pound of pressure in the right front tire, and then they're also going to make a track bar adjustment, and Ron's going to come out and take his quick halftime break. I got to ask you, some of the guys are saying the track is getting really slick. We thought it would tighten up.
Well, I sure hope it wasn't my truck, because it really got loose. You know, Jack was behind me, he'd get me loose, so I'd go ahead and I'd follow him for a while, and it fixed it a little bit. So we'll make a small change, and we'll see what we can do with this Napa Brake Chevrolet. Fred Graves, Teresa Dale, everybody, they're awesome on this team. I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun to run here at Bristol.
Is this a true truck race right now? It seems like just you and Sprague.
Oh, I wouldn't say that yet. Jack almost got me a little sideways there, and I think Rutler could have snuck in that one. So anything goes right now. I got another 100 laps to go, and gloves are off.
Well, he's going to go take a little break, get a cool drink. We're going to show you the 24. They're all the way at the other end of the pit, and then we're going to make our way to the 99. The 24, they are making a huge change, guys. They're going to change a spring. I think it's the left rear, if I remember correctly, and a couple of shocks. So they have got their hands full with a bunch of adjustments that they're going to make into that truck, and that sort of surprised me because you figure they're running second, and they were able to get around and pass the leader, Hornaday, for several times, and he was true to his word. He said Hornaday would not lead every lap of this race. Now, we've made it up to Joe Ruttman's pit, but as you can see by the view, I don't think I want to do an interview just right now. Joe, I don't want to shoot this guy's backside here, but I'm going to stick the microphone in. Maybe he can get a real high shot over top. What adjustments are you making here?
Well, we're a little bit tight in the middle, and we're loose getting in and a little loose getting off. If we can correct that, I think we can run with them, but it appears they're running real good, so we're gonna have to hit it pretty close to catch up to them.
A lot of spins tonight. Some of the teams are saying the track is just super greasy.
Well, you know, it's hard. It's certain parts, but we've made a big change from happy hour, and you know, we're debating on what to do right now. We need it tighter in two places and looser in one, so I don't know what it's going to take.
That's a fun combination to try and figure out. We'll let them get back to it, guys. Up top side to you.
I love the left-hand label on the glove. Here is the mayhem on pit road as everybody gets busy trying to change their trucks around and do something with them for the second half. The big change on Sprague's truck, maybe a bit of a surprise. The battle for the lead between Sprague and Hornaday, pretty impressive, especially right here, Benny, about 5 laps before the halfway point.
Go down in turn 1. There's some heavy contact. We see the 16 truck goes up. Once again, contact, but Sprague luckily backed off, did not really force issue that second time. Otherwise, I think the first three trucks would have crashed.
Yeah, he could have forced the issue, as you said, and turned Hornaday real easy once he got down there, got that right front up against his left rear. But as Hornaday said, the gloves are off at Bristol. He and Sprague battling for the win and the championship. We'll be back with more after this. We're live at Bristol, Tennessee. The truck's beginning to move off pit road in anticipation of the restart and the second half of the Loadhandler 200. Meanwhile, out in San Diego, California, the X Games rock on throughout the week, right on up to the conclusion on June the 28th. Chris Fowler hosting all of ESPN and ESPN2's primetime telecast, and Chris McKendry doing the late night shows. Coverage starts tonight, goes on through the 28th, so be sure to check it out. Tolsma, 4th best truck in the field right now as we take another quick break. We'll be right back.
Back at Bristol Motor Speedway, round number 9 on this NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. There's 2 more quick updates on you on the 4th and 5th place trucks. Randy Tolsma was very loose coming into this last session, so they tried to tighten him up. Right behind him, Mike Wallace was very tight, so they're trying to loosen him up. I don't know, Benny. I can't figure this sport out sometimes. 2 trucks running right in front of each other, going different directions in the adjustments.
They should just trade trucks. Maybe the driving styles would fix both of them.
I'll tell you what struck me is that the 16, the leader, and the 24, the second place truck, about as equal as 2 trucks can be, come to the pits. Hornaday here puts a pound of air pressure in the right front, and Sprague behind him changes 2 shocks and a spring, which is like rebuilding the thing. Exactly. It'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Interesting to see exactly what works for these 2 trucks. You're right.
It's a huge change, and of course that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to get a whole lot better, a whole lot worse. You can change all that stuff and it'll end up the same. Borsett is back out after getting rear-ended in that earlier altercation that took about 6 trucks to the infield for repairs.
And we see Greg Biffle is out. There's not much on the truck. He's 67 laps down, but as we talked about, he's out there getting every point that he can. And there we see the front end is gone from the truck, and back end beat out the best they could.
getting that air coming through.
This is Tony Roper's first ride in the Ice House truck. This is Tom Bloy's truck.
Good for Tony. 13th so far. His nose clean.
And Dave Resendez also out in the Ultra Wheels ASC truck. He's in 15th spot, still on the lead lap.
From a provisional starting spot, so that's pretty good. It's been a mixed bag for that team with Bliss being injured. Bliss has been going back out, getting in laps after each caution when the field's all bunched up. And here's Refner. We commented earlier that he had moved forward pretty impressively from 15th to 7th and has stayed there, keeping his nose clean. No donuts, no dents. When you can say that halfway through the race, you're doing pretty well.
Cars are all lined up for the restart as they come off turn 4. The pace truck pulls off, and Hornaday brings him down for the second half.
Sauter needed big time on Sprague. Sprague thinking, man, I wish he'd just go away. He's a lap down. Who's more frustrated there, Sprague or Sauter, because Sauter's got to be thinking, what, coulda, woulda, shoulda. One spin early in the race is putting him in this spot. Maybe we'll get the answer to the question here. Hornaday is driving away from Sprague, although obviously Sprague has a bit of an obstacle in front of him at this point. That's the biggest lead we've seen all night right there.
Sauter can close that gap on Hornaday, then I think Sprague will leave him alone. But if he can't, Sprague will keep beating on that rear bumper and said, come on, either go on or get out of the way.
You got to do one or the other. When you're a lap down, you can't just sit there and hold me up. Sauter, meanwhile, thinking, I can't let him by because the only way I can get my lap back is get back in front of the leader. Marty on the changes perhaps to Sprague.
Not so much the changes, just the dissatisfaction of Dennis Conner, the crew chief. He's been seeing all this banging and going on between the 3 and the 24. He's been all over NASCAR officials saying, hey, why don't you tell these guys to lap down and get out of our driver's way.
Racing by radio. 5th, 6th, and not 7th because that third truck in line is a lap down, but that's Robert Huffman, who's doing a pretty good job of keeping his nose clean here. He is 22nd on the racetrack, and the second truck a lap down.
The changes that Mike Wallace made during that break is not working. We see Randy Tolsma has just driven away from Mike Wallace, and the 35 truck Ron Barfield has closed up right on the back tailgate of the 52, the Purelator truck. So whatever changes Mike made, maybe the long run they'll start working, but right now they aren't.
He's wishing he could trade trucks with Tolsma at the moment. This is 5th and 6th position. As we said, not 7th place behind them, but rather 22nd place. Still respectable for Huffman. There he is, replacing Keselowski. The 66 of Brian Refner is your 7th place truck, and he has his hands full right now with the Pennzoil number 19 of the 2-time race winner this year, Tony Raines.
And Raines looks on the inside. Does he have enough? Yes, he does. He goes by, and here comes Jimmy Hensley. And now here comes Kevin Zawinski. So Refner gets out of the groove for just a second and loses 3 spots.
After seeing his fellow Wisconsin driver Zawinski go by and thinking, this was going so well. What did I do wrong? What did I do to deserve this? Hensley, the only Dodge in the top 10, takes it to 8th, and Richard Petty says, yes. From the Napa folks, Hornaday continuing to lead, biggest lead of the race right now, as we watch this ongoing battle for Refner. It's a good run for Zawinski. He doesn't drive the trucks much. He's come from 18th to 10th. Markham's kind of leveled off. Remember, he was 4th. He lost a whole bunch of positions, and now he's just holding his own up. He's just outside the top 10. From here on back, you get into the guys who are lap or 4 down. Bliss has only lost 10 laps. He comes in whenever the traffic catches him, gets out of the way, doesn't want to wreck, doesn't want to hurt the shoulder. You get a yellow, bunch him up. He goes back out and runs some more laps on the tail of the field.
There's Zawinski trying to get by Jimmy Hensley. He looks on the inside. Hensley doesn't contest him too much, so Zawinski goes by and moves into the 8th spot.
Very good.
Bob and Shelley, Freebacks number 31. Tony Roper has been driving this truck all year, but This week he got to ride with Tom Gloy in the Ice House truck, and so they need a new driver, and that's Zawinski.
Here's your leader working his way through the lap trucks now with Sprague finally having dispatched Sauter and in hot pursuit and catching him pretty quickly, it appears. He's cut the lead in half, but it gets complicated when you have slower trucks to deal with.
You see Randy Nelson 82 truck as Hornaday goes by him. You see the green nose of Jack Sprague's truck.
Nelson beat up from an earlier incident. Sprague will go around him on the outside. Line rush. Working on the inside of the 04 of Brad Teague. That's for 14th position.
Lonnie Rush has it. Meanwhile, here comes Resendiz. Goes on the outside of Kevin Harvick. That's not the position.
Harvick went a lap down early and has not been able to get it back. Now in 22nd spot. He lost the position to Huffman in the last couple of go-rounds. Robert moving up to 21st. Joined us for the truck race. Didn't hear. Robert Huffman won the Goodies Dash race earlier tonight. Then jumped into Keselowski's truck. Keselowski a little beat up. Well, here are the two big guns at Bristol. We're going to take a commercial break and come back with more. Hornaday leading it over Sprague. They're running right the way they started. 126 of 200 laps are complete at Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. Rank has its privilege. Benny Parsons is going to the NASCAR Winston Cup race next weekend at Sears Point Raceway to save Mark Cragen 350. I'm going to Watkins Glen for the Bushman National action next Sunday. We're going to be your warm-up act, Parsons. We'll try to get them ready for you. That'll be at 4 o'clock Eastern time for the Left Coast race. We hope you tune in for both. It looked we got trouble on the racetrack. I want to face the wrong way, and that would be
Brad Teague, the 04 truck.
Falling out of the middle of what was a pretty good battle for position there. Was it 13th and 14th, I think, that they were contesting at the time that Brad turned it around? So, bad break for Brad. That will tighten up these two. Sprague was in the process, it looked like, of running down Hornaday in traffic, but then when they got clear of the traffic, Ron opened it back up a little bit. We, I don't think, have been able to make the definitive judgment about how the changes on these two trucks have affected their performance, but if I had to call it one way or another, I'd say Hornaday may have helped his more than Sprague helped the 24, but don't count on it.
Well, we've only
change.
The problem, we've only been 30 laps. Let's see if we can see what happens to Brad Teague. Well, there was other trucks around. Exactly what happened, I don't know, as Kenny Bouchard goes down and misses them. You will see the leader, Ron Hornaday, comes by.
Yeah,
it's not a good-looking scene when you look up and see someone right in front of you.
Better not hit that guy. Might mess up my plan. From Resendiz in car. In truck.
Yeah, hard to say. Appeared to be by himself, but there's just no way of knowing.
Pretty uneventful kind of go around it looked like for Teague, if there is such a thing at Bristol. Didn't hit anything. No serious contact. He'll be able to continue. We'll slip in one more commercial break and come back for the restart. Don't be concerned that you have missed the restart. You've already seen it 3 times. Hornaday jumps out front, and Sauter jumps in front of Sprague. It happened a lap and a half ago, and the net result is this kind of a lead for Hornaday, and Sprague with the continuing frustration of having to deal yet again with Jay Sauter. And no matter what Dennis Conner, Sprague's crew chief, says, Sauter is going to continue to race these guys till he gets that lap.
He's going to try his best, and I thought that time he had a chance to get in front of Hornaday, but when he got to turn 1, Hornaday just kind of turned left, and Sauter had no choice except back out the accelerator. Didn't want to wreck the leader, so
beat Hornaday on the restart. You're going to have to be pretty good. Marty.
Hey, you want the update on the 24? I went to Dennis Conner. He says, oh, man, we're still loose. He says, I don't know what to do now.
Well, there's not much you can do right now because I know that Jack Sprague is not going to pit, give up that track position to make an adjustment, so he's just going to kind of live with it. You'll see Zawinski go by on trying to chase down the 66.
On the Boris a little bit. There goes the wounded Greg Biffle machine. working his way through the mix. Biffle is a bunch of laps down, but still accumulating laps as Sprague continues to try to do something with the 3 of Jay Sauter. And Hornaday taking the opportunity to sit on the 15 truck lead. Exactly the same situation as on the last restart. Sprague followed him for a while, got tired of it, moved him out of the way, and went on. But if Connor is right and that truck is very loose, he's going to have a tough time doing anything with Hornaday because Hornaday looks pretty good. Remember Ruttman's comment that they were, what, tight in 2 places and loose in 1, or the other way around? Doesn't look like they've done anything miraculous to fix that. He's just been circulating there in 3rd place through all of these restarts, unable to close up, but also unchallenged by the 61 of Tolsma.
Loose in, loose off, tight in the middle. But meanwhile, yeah, Jack Sprague, right now, you see Sauter, he finally figures out that he can't chase down Hornaday, so he moves over and lets the 24 truck go and said, okay, now if you catch the 16, go right in. I don't hold you up any more than I have already.
Which is pretty substantial when you think about it, the way he whacked him on the last restart. Hey, it's racing.
Right now, Jack Sprague is 1 second behind the leader, Ron Hornaday. Just in case you tuned in, Hornaday, the leader in the 16 truck, is 40 years old today, his birthday.
There's Dave Resendiz, and this is a very good run. He's come from a provisional starting spot, 37th starting spot, to 13. That is not easy to do at Bristol, and he's done so without a whole lot of incident and excitement. He's managed to keep that truck with most of its fenders straight, not dented, beat up. That's pretty good performance.
See Tammy Jo Kirk back there in the 51 truck, the Auto Value Ford.
Good to see Tammy Jo back out there. Looks like her truck racing career might be over, but he put together a deal for a new truck, and he's back at it.
Running 14th position in the same lap as the leader.
Hoffman gave Resendiz a wave and offered him the outside. Resendiz goes around. That is not for position. Hoffman is a lap down. Resendiz obviously has something to prove, having lost his ride with the Ice House bunch. The Roper jumps into the second Jimmy Smith truck for this weekend, and with Bliss out there just kind of accumulating laps with a broken shoulder. There's Mike, his teammate. See, he's just putting in his time. That's not much fun, but Resendiz is having a great time. The other truck picking off positions with every lap. Here's your best position fight out there right now. That's the 61 of Tolsma, the 52, and that's perhaps about to change that position. That's Wallace with the pressure on. Right back there lurking in 6th spot and hoping to make something happen is the 19 of Tony Raines.
So I talked about the changes that Wallace made as Raines almost gets in the back of the pure lead truck. I talked about the changes that Wallace made not working, but obviously it took them a few laps for Mike to get everything back up to snuff, but now he does, and he's clearly faster than Tolsma. And being faster than trying to pass is 2 different things, as I've said before.
Looks like I guess it's still like he's going to fix up in the right front. Good run for him with 2 wins this year. Started 12th. Currently sitting in 6th spot. 3 truck lengths away from 4th.
The Tolsma truck is loose. We see the back end of his truck going out, coming back as he uses the throttle and the steering wheel to keep the truck going straight.
Wallace just needed a little more time to let the truck come through. He called that, I think, the first time the Tolsma was running away from him. So now, long run, let's see what happens. What happens is he catches Tolsma, and now he starts giving him that little nudge. It says, I'm quicker than you, and I got this Pennzoil guy behind me. We need to make something happen here.
Oh, see, Tolsma that time back in waving to the crowd.
I would say he's fairly busy right now.
He looks in the mirror and he says, what the hell, I keep this guy, just leave me alone till I get through this mess. And there he comes up on the back of the 60 truck of Andy Houston. We had some trouble there for a second. Houston goes up the racetrack. That's all these trucks go by.
Here, Randy, here's a couple more things for you to worry about. How about that half-dozen trucks in front of you now? Wallace takes the position in traffic. Woo, but Tolsma doesn't want to let it go. And they race hard down into 3.
And I think Starts saying Wallace had the spot, but he doesn't yet. Now he does.
He's not that much better than Colesma, is he? He was a little better, and it pays off with the pass. Raines steps up to take his shot, and he can't do it. Colesma hangs on. Meanwhile, the 35 catching up with those guys is Barfield. They struggle a little bit in the traffic. He takes the precision gear onboard camera right up into the thick of the fight. He's been in the top 10 all night. Again, guys who just keep their nose clean, don't bend the truck up, have a good opportunity for a top 10 finish here.
Just do it. It's so easy to say. Just do it.
And being careful isn't the answer, because half the time things that happen to you are something you could avoid anyway. So you might as well out and charge. Hope for the best. Luck has a lot to do with it. So they've kind of got that all sorted out now. Wallace has just driven around and gone on to 4th position. We pick up this battle, which has been going on for a while. This is for 9th and 10. Hensley has been, I believe, as high as 7 with the Dodge, and will now go back to 9 as he drop kicks Rushmore back to position. Bryan has moved as high as 6th, I believe, on the ladder. And then remember, just a few laps ago, we saw him lose 3 spots. They're your leaders with the lapper between them.
Terry Cook going 1 lap down. Thought he was going to really fight. Did not want to go that lap down, but Hornaday quickly got position on him. He couldn't do anything about it. So, but Sprague is not letting Hornaday get away. Only about 10 or 15 car lengths between the two.
Now we've seen, or we heard the complaints from Dennis Conner about the 24 being loose, but when the traffic is not there, he seems to be able to close the gap. 161 down. We'll be right back. Speed World speeding around Bristol Motor Speedway. Look here. 1 truck length separating the top 2. Getting short. 31 laps to go. Sprague making his run at the leader as we go to the Dodge race recap. And note that Hornaday is atop the field, has led the majority of the laps thus far, but Denny, I think there's more to it than that. I think what remains to be seen is what will happen with that green and white truck in the 24 laps or the 30 laps that remain.
If the truck was loose, I'm talking about Jack Sprague, if it was loose, as the night getting cooler and cooler temperatures, that should help that problem. If Hornaday's truck was perfect, it should start tightening up. It should make the difference between the 2 trucks come closer together. You see Sprague's truck is definitely loose, or seemed to be loose as he came off the 2nd corner.
He was able to run Hornaday down pretty effectively on an open racetrack. When there was no traffic, he seemed able to gain on it. In traffic, I don't know, pretty close to call. Marty, got an opinion?
Eddie, you're right on. I mean, Ron has said absolutely nothing on the radio, hasn't complained about the truck, which is a good indication he likes the way it's handling. And it looks like as the temperature does continue to drop, here comes Sprague. Now, the interesting player in all this is the 99 of Joe Ruttman. He's fallen back from these 2, but we've seen this happen before. He hopes that those 2 go banging against each other, and he ends up sliding past both of them.
Ruttman has been the beneficiary of those sorts of moments in the past. Most recently at Watkins Glen, he won amid controversy. As Hornaday in the 16 was black flag on the final restart. Just a couple laps to go. And Ruttman waltzed to the victory lane. Resendiz is about to go a lap down. He is the 12th place truck. Here's Hornaday on the inside of him. Resendiz is not making it easy for him. And Sprague is a truck length back, looking for a moment of opportunity. Does it make any difference, Benny, in traffic, whether you got a tight truck or a loose truck?
It'd probably be better to be a little bit tighter than loose, because you have to turn the wheel a little more abruptly to try to get under cars or trucks. A moment ago, as we see Hornaday trying to get by the 2, just a little bit of tap from the 24 truck of Sprague. Say, look, now don't mess up, because I'm back here. Remember, don't mess up. Trying his best to play with the mind of, oh, and Hornaday just turned in front of Resendiz. I know the spotter didn't say clear because he couldn't have seen it that quickly.
Perhaps just letting Resendiz know that he would have appreciated a little more slack there. Napa Field summary. Napa truck still leading. Hornaday over Sprague by about a truck length. They started 1-2. They run 1-2. Ruttman is third. Has been there from the get-go. That does not tell the entire story. A couple of pretty interesting battles for the lead en route to that. They've gone back to the tail end of the top 10. Refner is the last man. Lonnie Rush having a good run tonight. 30th to 11th, and Resendiz 37th to 12th. And Tammy Kirk deserves a call. 28th spot. Giving another swing to run 13.
Ever see Lonnie Rush in the 10 truck? We talked about just a moment ago, the 11th place truck. Now going a lap down.
It's time for Sprague to pull the trigger here. We got 20 to go. And you need a couple of laps to make a pass here. He's going to need at least a couple of laps to get closed up on Hornaday.
This traffic that they're running across might be his best chance. If he can just somehow get Hornaday caught in traffic behind the slower truck, maybe that will be his opportunity. But they look too even for him just to run up and pass Hornaday. It looks like there's something going to happen for him to be able to do it.
A lot of times I hear, Benny, that the guy in second place in traffic has all the advantage. Do you agree with that?
I agree, because the leader has to make a decision. He's got to make the decision to go high or low. If it's wrong, the second place guys are just ready to pounce on him. Okay, no problem with Brad T. Joe Buford, no problem with him as Hornaday goes by. 24 truck, and Sprague not able to get any advantage there. This is 1/2 second. What you see, the computer saying is a 1/2 second as they're the 9th place or the 10th place truck of Brian Refner about to go a lap down, and he does go a lap down.
And at this point, you just get out of the way. With the help of your mirror and your spotter, there's no sense in contesting that. Let them go with 15 remaining. Let them go decide it between themselves. They've been the class of the field all night. The adjustments that Ruttman made during the halfway break, ineffective in terms of enabling him to get up here and run with these two guys. So, it's number 16 and number 12, dominant all year long, tops of the points, ready to have at it to the win.
Joe Ruttman right now is 6 seconds behind this battle. And then we see the 31 of Zawinski in Barfield battling for position. We see that's a battle for 7th spot as they go by Jamie Skinner. And Rick Crawford finally got his truck running.
Man, big frustration for him as we go back up front with the leaders while the field summary takes you through the back of the field. Crawford, after winning at Homestead, had a clutch problem on the warm-up lap here and sat out the vast majority of the race while the crew tried to fix it.
It doesn't look like that the 24 of Sprague is going to be able to do anything with Hornaday. Hornaday goes by 5th. We see the damage to the Granger truck. Also, 44 Boris said. There's some sore ribs from Texas. Able to stay out there as Hornaday goes by.
Hornaday a winner at Orlando and Phoenix. Now just hoping that the lappers will give him room and that he can stay out of trouble for 10 more circuits in this tricky Bristol Motor Speedway.
He now has a little over 1 second lead on Jack Sprague. Now he's stretching it out.
Yeah, Sprague's taking his shot, got as close as he could get. Sprague knows that second's the best he can run tonight unless something bad happens to Hornaday. So he's going to have to just settle for it. Some nights you got to do that. Some nights you got to be smart enough to say, I want to win. Tonight I'm second. I'm going to take my points and get him next week. Sprague, remember, is the leader. Don't gamble that point lead for no good reason. So now it's just a matter of ticking them off. And 7 laps from now, barring some sort of disaster, this guy will be the all-time king of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series short trackers.
Well, see, Sprague is still there, but just not able to close up. As a matter of fact, Hornaday is widening the field.
Hornaday so completely dominant here a year ago. I would say pretty much dominant here tonight. Sprague was able to come up there and make him nervous a couple of times, push him around a little bit, let him know he had company. But when push came to shove, Hornaday was able to shove his way back in front and stay there when it mattered, and that's right now. 4 to go. All-time king of the trucks in terms of race victories. Champion 2 years ago, battling Sprague for that championship in 1998. And we'll take a little nibble out of the point lead here this evening. In 3 more laps, if we keep the truck in line.
Mike Wallace has called Joe Rudman.
Run at him here, you think, Benny?
Looks like he's going to. This is a battle for the 3rd spot. You're about 8 seconds behind the leader, but and we got a truck spun on the backstretch. I thought and the caution flag is out. Oh, Sprague's going to give him another shot. He's going to get him another shot.
Resendiz has trouble with, what, 2-3 laps to go after moving that truck all the way through the traffic and getting it inside the top 15. And the net was down in no time. He must have blown it up.
And the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races do not end under caution flag. So we will see green, white, checker. We'll see 2 laps for Jack Sprague to try to muscle his way by Ron Hornaday.
You got a buck in your pocket?
No.
I'll bet you that Hornaday doesn't jump the restart. We're going to take that break and come back to see how we decide it, ladies and gentlemen. It's always exciting in NASCAR racing. As the sun sets slowly in the west here in the mountains of East Tennessee, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Loadhandler 200 is at 201. But we're under yellow because of Dave Resendiz. And we take a ride with him here and see if we can figure out what's going on. A little contact with Rush. That'll do it.
And he goes down and gets the inside wall. I mean, he was trying his best not to spin out Lonnie Rush, and instead spun himself out. That was the battle for the 11th spot.
And that's pretty remarkable. He having come from dead last. It happened 2 laps from, not dead last, he was next to last. It happened 2 laps from the end. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races do not end under caution. We will have a green flag, then a white flag, then a checkered flag, and that means Jack Sprague has 2 laps to figure out a way to get around Ron Hornaday. Given Hornaday's ability on restarts, to pass him in 2 laps at Bristol would not be a miracle, but it would be mighty close.
See Rick Corelli sitting down. He's spent a lot of time. He's 74 laps down. In the Remax Chevrolet, he spent a lot of time behind the wall tonight.
Frustrated night for a former winner of the race here. Won 2 years ago. His first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series win, in fact.
Well, I think they've got everything about in shape for a restart. I would not be surprised the next time by the flagman gives them the signal. Chris Morgan says 1 lap to go, and we'll see. But you're right. Ron Hornaday seems to be the absolute master of restarts. You see Ms. Hornaday biting her nails.
Thinking I didn't need to see that caution.
Exactly right. With caution like that.
Hubby and I, the birthday boy and I, could have been in victory lane by now. Thank you very much. Well, we'll see a couple laps from now if they can complete the task. And if Hornaday can become not only the top short tracker all time, but the first man ever to win 20 Craftsman Truck Series races. Mike Skinner set the pace at 16 career victories before he moved on to Winston Cup. Hornaday has eclipsed that record and now builds on it with each checkered flag that he collects. Lights are out on the pace truck. Loadhandler 200 will be 205 tonight, barring further incident.
You talked about that restart, jump in the restart. NASCAR told us that tonight they're pretty specific about where this restart's going to be. There's a white line across the racetrack at turn 4. There, see that white line and the Budweiser sign. It's somewhere between that Budweiser sign and the white line. Somewhere in there is where Ron Hornaday is supposed to hit the accelerator. He's coming by, he's there. Somewhere right now he's got to hit, and he hits it right there. Good restart.
And did not get the big jump. Sprague timed his restart pretty effectively, but look how that 16 truck speeds through the middle of the corner.
He comes off the corner for the white flag.
White flag will fly this time by, and for Ron Hornaday, it is half a lap to home. The final lap at Bristol Motor Speedway. He's driving away from Jack Sprague as expected. And Hornaday, on his 40th birthday, on Father's Day weekend, flames the checkered flag at Bristol and wins his 20th career NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race. In the process, takes a small bite out of the point lead of Jack Sprague. And with 9 of 27 races complete, the battle for the championship continues. The top 3 on the track are also the top 3 in the points. We'll be back to hear from the winner. At Bristol Motor Speedway, Ron Hornaday has won it. The yellow tape comes off the ear so he can hear the questions from our Marty Reed, who's standing by.
Well, it takes a long time for an old man to climb out from behind the wheel. Look at this hat. It's black. It's black. It says 40 on it. And there goes the ice water. Come on down here. We're running a little short here, but not bad for an old man, huh?
If you're talking about Fred Graves, I'll tell you what, he's awesome. He's got a setup for this. I got to thank Dale Teresa, Napa Brakes. Goodyear came out with a great tire. Burger King. I'm going to go on. Action Collectible, they're number 1 in die-cast to me. And I'll tell you what, Fred's awesome here. We're a little loose the first half, and tightened her up a little bit, and that's all it takes.
It looked like Jack took one good run at you for a stretch there, and then you had him. There. And that was from Jack Sprague. I don't know if he's out there. But
I just got to tell everybody Happy Father's Day tomorrow, and I tell you what, Fred, you're awesome, buddy. I tell you. What a night. I tell you what, this Bristol is awesome to this truck. We got a couple little deals with lap traffic. Other than that, man, this Napa Brakes Chevrolet was awesome.
Well, guys, Jack Sprague did keep his promise. This guy didn't lead all the laps, but he won them. And for all the fathers out there, we'll say Happy Father's Day, too. Back to you guys.
I will second that notion. Final thought, Benny, as we take a quick look here at the unofficial results.
I just really was amazed at how well Hornaday was able to keep that truck under him all night for the 200 laps.
He did a great job. He has won his 20th career race as we take you back through those who struggled to various degrees here this evening. Most significantly, Rick Crawford, who was able to run fewer than 20 laps at the end of the race after the clutch broke on the pace lap. And so the fans here at Bristol have seen an exciting and eventful night of competition. And the net result is that Jack Sprague loses a little of his point lead to Ron Hornaday, now 67 behind. Joe Ruttman third. Sauter opens it up on Compton, who lost a position to Tony Raines. Hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. We've enjoyed bringing it to you.